Hey there, awesome person. Welcome back. If you're returning, welcome if you're new. This is the One Tarot channel, and today I am diving into this deck of cards. Before jumping in, I just want to mention if you are looking for a flip through just to see the cards and only the cards, check out the description of this video. I have recorded a 4K flip through for this deck of cards, no talking, just the cards, and vertically for cell phone users and horizontally for anybody else. So check that out if that's what you're looking for. Be sure to also change your playback settings so that you get the best possible picture as you are watching the flip through. If you are interested in looking at the whole package and getting to know this deck in a little bit more detail, you are in the right place, and let's jump in. So this is the deck of cards we're working with. I'm not really sure how to pronounce this. It's a Zillich Tarot. It is named after the artist who has created this deck, and this deck comes in a tin box. There's a little bit of information about this deck of cards right here on the side of the box. As you can see, the bottom is taken up by mainly, what would we say, US gaming systems advertising themselves, as they really love to do, it seems. So but yeah, so we have a little, and I mean, it's not a big deal, right? That's on the side. I don't mind that at all. But anyway, this is the box of cards, the tin that it comes in, and this is the inside, and this is what comes in this tin box. So we have a little booklet, and we have the cards, and this is the inside of the box, which I'm going to now put away. So, cards and a book. I want to mention number one is you might have noticed the size of this deck. Let me just show you. This is a pretty standard sized tarot card. And this is the Zillich Tarot. So these cards are quite tiny, if you can see that. Okay, so that makes me think regular size tarot versus oracle cards, because oracle cards are always larger, usually, than tarot, and that's kind of how I feel now, like that difference in sizing. If we compare tarot to oracle, that's kind of how I feel. These are super, super tiny. I'm going to show you with one more. Like, here's a standard sized pen. Is this even fitting on the video? Let's see. Okay, so can you see that? Like, they're just really tiny cards, right? But anyway, I just wanted to mention that just to show you. And let's jump into this book. So this is basically a printed paper folded and stapled. I do want to mention this is a deck of Thoth cards, if that's how you pronounce that. It's not an RWS deck. I am not familiar with this system of tarot, really not familiar, so I'm just gonna throw that out there. So I can't really comment on things like definition of cards or like how close it is, like symbology wise and things like that. I have no clue. Okay, but I really love this deck. I didn't even realize it wasn't an RWS deck. It doesn't bother me. I just really love the artwork, and I wanted to have this deck. So, and now I found out that it's actually a Thoth style deck. So, which is cool. Not complaining, just saying. So anyways, in terms of the book, this is the front cover. This is the back cover. Of course, there is US gaming systems advertising themselves as always. Same they're doing the same on the front page. We have an introduction, and then after the introduction, we have the Fool's Journey. So like a little bit on the Fool's Journey. If you're not familiar with what the Fool's Journey is, or the Fool card, the Fool card is card number 0. Usually it is included as the first card of the major arcana, but it is numbered as card 0. And the Fool goes through the major arcana, which are 21 cards that he or she journeys through. And that's basically, like, if you need to know more, then there's lots of information online that you can find out about what the Fool's Journey really is. But that's a very short sort of synopsis of that. But anyway, so we have that, and then once we look at the Fool's Journey, which is not a very long description at all, we get into the major arcana, and then we have the minor arcana, and then it goes into minors, and then it goes into the Celtic Cross. We're going to flip the page. About artist, about author, and then more copyright. Right, I already mentioned this, I believe. US Gaming Systems loves advertising themselves, apparently. But anyway, that's the book. So there's really nothing to it. I do want to mention with the major arcanas, it's pretty cool. The writer talks about the symbology within this, within the majors. So it'll talk about, for the Fool, for example, it's the water element, and then it talks about esoteric symbolism here, and it tells you what this card would mean in a reading. The Magician, the Magus, planet Mercury, and then it talks about what that is: star of the Egyptian Thoth, god of magic, wisdom, and the science. The esoteric symbol of the image is the temple. Let me show you this card as I'm reading it. So this is the card we're looking at right now. And where was I? Let's see if we can fit that better. Or maybe we should do it this way. Okay, the esoteric symbol of the image is the temple, the place where holy ceremonies are performed and high wisdom techniques are proclaimed. The Magus is crowned by a floating lemniscate, the serpent symbol of the first alchemist Hermes Trismegistus, creator of the famous text, as above so below. A Magus guides the heavenly spirit toward earth and forms the elements according to his discretion. Fire, air, water, and earth, indicating in the image by the rose in the hand of the Magus, the sword, bottom right, cutting the image, the cup, the grail, and the pentagram intimated at bottom left. And then the meaning for this card would be, let me see if I can focus that. The meaning for this card would include news, wisdom, and good fortune. Mercury is the old Roman god of merchants and thieves. Thus, the Magus also symbolizes success with money, but also cunning and ploy. Right, so I love how there is symbology in the major arcanas, how we get a little bit of a symbolic meaning, esoteric meaning, and stuff like that. This is quite different in a reading, is quite different from the RWS meaning of this card, RWS being Rider Waite Smith, which is a different style of tarot. And because I'm not familiar with this one, I can't comment like on whether this is pretty standard definition of this card or not. I have no idea, so I can't make those comments here, but I just wanted to show like the fact that there's a bit of esoteric knowledge and symbology, which is really cool. I also want to mention that once we get to the minors, we don't have the symbology anymore as far as I can see. But each of these cards has a keyword, okay? So that happens in cards 2 through 10. And what that means is that card number 0, which are wow, okay. One more time. I'm going to try that one more time. So aces don't have keywords, but as soon as we get past the aces, we do. We have keywords. The numbers 2 through 10 all include a keyword in 4 of these suits, and then the royal cards do not include keywords. So just worth mentioning here. But that's basically that. And so the book is also reflecting that. I also noticed that there's no reversals. I haven't read the whole book, so obviously maybe I'm wrong, but honestly, I don't see any reversals here. I'm pretty sure it is safe to say that there are no reversals in this little pamphlet. Can I call it a booklet? What to call this? I don't know. But yeah, basically this is what it is. So I really do appreciate the fact that there's like symbology and stuff in this. It's really cool. And I think like if you know the RWS system and you start kind of reading this can help you to expand your knowledge a little bit, because like we have, for example, some of the stuff that the Magus, which is the magician card that was speaking about, you know, like some of that you can like the RWS system does talk about the 4 tools, being the cups, the wands, the swords, and the pentacles, you know, and being able to use those things to affect manifestations and creating things from, you know, heaven, bringing it down to earth, or like energetically connecting to that energy and creating something physical out of pure energy, right? So the Empress being like ruled by Venus, the Emperor is in Aries, which we do come across these things in the RWS system. So this might actually be kind of helpful. I just want to say, I don't know, I'm not familiar with this system, but from the brief look at this book, I can see that I feel like it could potentially provide a little bit of assistance with the RWS system if you kind of want to dive a little bit deeper. Okay, but I think that's it for the book. Then I'm going to put it away and we're going to take a look at the cards. So this is a deck of cards. It is quite tiny. Some people who have small hands would probably love the size of this. I personally don't. I prefer large cards. Even if I struggle with the shuffle, I just prefer to have larger cards, more like a bigger area to look at. But also I don't have tiny hands, so I don't really struggle with the shuffling. This is the deck of cards. So I'm gonna do like a quick show of these. If you're interested in just a flip through without the talking and in better quality, better resolution, without just better presented, check out the links in this description of this video. I have included links for 4K flip throughs for this deck. So if you like, go ahead and check that out. This is just a brief showing. And I hope all the cards are showing on screen. I'm trying to kind of make sure that they are, but my apologies if they're getting cut off by the camera anywhere. So this is essentially the deck of cards here. We're in the majors. The Empress, High Priestess, and that's it. So this is the deck. We're going to take a look at how it shuffles quite well, quite nicely. Did I mention about the reversals? This book doesn't seem to have reversals, but again, a lot of the books that come with decks don't, so like it's not like we can really hold it against the creator of this deck for not including those, right? So it's a pretty standard. I'd be more surprised to see that there's reversals included than not see them, basically. Less surprised if I don't see them than if I did see them. But anyways, so the shuffle for this deck, they are stiff. I haven't used them yet. So this is one of the first shuffles. So in terms of like first shuffles, not bad at all. I feel like they're going to loosen up a little bit and it's going to be much easier to shuffle them. Not an issue at all. This kind of shuffle is okay, no problem. It's more like with the riffle shuffle, but this one is totally okay. If you were maybe using this deck in a spread, this is kind of what you might be looking at. Let me get one more card. So this is just random cards. This is maybe what you would be looking at, okay? I want to point out also, so these cards are borderless. So we do have, actually not entirely, I guess. So these cards don't have side or top borders, but they do have bottom borders. As you can see, where the name of the card and significant information is included here. Also, I do want to mention, I'm seeing this on the Major Arcana. We have the name, we have the number of the card, we have this dot, and we have the symbol, and I don't know what that means. I'm sure that is somehow on purpose, and I have no idea what the actual purpose of including those symbols is. Yeah, so the Hierophant, I think the dot in the middle is just separating really the number from this symbol. Temperance. So it would be great if like the book would actually tell us what this is about, because that's where we would get that, right? Maybe these have something to do with the Kabbalistic tree. Here's another one. If anybody watching here knows the answer to this, please feel free to drop a comment in the comment box and let me know what that's all about, because I would love to know, and I don't think otherwise I will find out. But anyways, so this is the deck. The back of the cards, so as I was saying, borderless sides and top with a big border on the bottom so that we can see what this card is about. I do like this. It's nice and clear, and I feel like you won't be really like sitting there wondering what is this card about. Also, I do want to mention that because the borders are just so cleanly done, if you want to cut this out totally and be like a completely borderless deck, you can totally do this. personally, I wouldn't recommend it because I'm like, how would you know that this is the Seven of Cups or that this is the Five of Discs? Where would you see that? So I wouldn't actually do it myself because I feel like this deck would be way too hard to use and I wouldn't know what's what anymore. But I feel like it would be easy because you just gotta cut that across that line and then just have something to round your corners. And that's it and be done. This deck would get super, super, super tiny. Like it's already very small, but it would get so much smaller. So I mean, like I wouldn't personally recommend it. I'm just pointing out the fact that you could do it if you wanted to pretty easily. Also, I do want to say that while it doesn't have borders and it's just mainly just the image with the bottom border, so it does have like the one border. The back of this card is, I like the design, but also what I need to point out is US gaming systems advertising themselves again. I do have a big problem with this company doing this. I don't know when this deck was published, but like they need to stop really putting copyright information on the borders and on the cards because it's really kind of annoying and ridiculous. It's like we don't need to see this. We don't buy the decks because of a publisher. We buy them because of the art, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure I can speak for most people when I say this. Not that I want to speak for anybody, but I'm just saying, okay, like I would never buy a deck because somebody published it. Like, I don't care who publishes the deck. I care about the art. I care about the card stock. That's what I care about, not the publisher. So, like, if you respect us, publishers, like, stop doing this, please. Honestly, it's just annoying and it makes me like you less. But anyways, yeah. So that's what you get. It's kind of tacky, like ew. Do I want to, like, if I was reading for people, would I want to use this deck with this on it? Like, no, I wouldn't. But yeah, anyway, this is the deck of cards. Thickness, they're not terribly thin. I feel like this deck will hold up quite well. It just feels like it's done well, like the cardstock feels good. I don't think it's going to start wearing showing wear very, very, very quickly. I do think it will happen like with most decks, but I don't think it's going to happen right off the bat. So that's pretty happy about that. I feel like it's a good quality stock. There is some lamination on these cards, as you can see, but it's not terrible. It's mainly the lamination shows through on camera when I'm moving the card around to bounce the light so I can show you that there's lamination. But otherwise, there's no issues. Like, I'm not being blinded or anything, and I can look into the cards and see what I am looking at without the color being compromised because of the light reflecting from the cards. So hopefully you can also see how the lamination does not really affect the images of the cards. So these are it. I don't think there's much else to really talk about. This is the artwork. It's kind of like watercolory type of stuff. And let me see if there's anything else maybe I wanted to mention. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna leave it at that. There's really nothing else that I can think of to talk about with this deck. It's tiny, mainly borderless, which is really good because it's so small. Comes in a tin. The booklet is, I'm not gonna comment, it's okay, whatever. It's a 60-page booklet apparently. And this deck of cards is a very, very tiny. It feels like pocket sized. like a pocket size deck. I'm not sure if, to be honest, if I had to choose, if I would go with a larger deck that has a border and then the images would be about the same, or if I go with this size deck without the borders but with tiny cards. I personally prefer a little bit cards that are a little bit larger. Again, so this is standard sized tarot, right? And this is this deck of cards. So this deck is super, super tiny. Standard size tarot. This, the Zillich Tarot. It is what it is. I think some people will absolutely love the size of this deck. I am not one of these people, but I do love the artwork and I can see myself using this deck. But anyways, I'm going to stop rambling and I'm going to let you go here. Thanks for being here and watching if you are still sitting and listening to me ramble on and on. This has been sort of a review of the Zillich Tarot. Thanks for watching. Again, if you're interested in the flip through, check out the description of this deck. And if you enjoyed this, feel free to drop a comment, like, share, subscribe. Any of that is awesome. And I'll catch you next time. Bye.